Women are wondering, like, why aren't men wanting to get married these days? Why are men not even approaching me and talking to me anymore? Why are men checking out completely? Look at the risk reward of getting into a relationship with a woman, potentially for a family and kids. You know, if you want to sleep around and just like hoe it up as a dude, and salute, brother, go handle business. The game ends the same for us.
Is that enough?
Can you find happiness? Can you find happiness and joy? For some men, it's great. But I think every man on a deeper level yearns for a family, yearns for that dream, like a woman that's supportive, nurturing.
Have you ever seen a couple where the woman is happy? The guy mostly does his best, but she shames him, cries, complains, gaslights, argues, and keeps reminding him why he should do more. So the guy loses frame and goes above and beyond to make her happy. She shames more, complains more, and asks for more. Finally, the guy has enough and asks her to cooperate and change her ways to make this work. But the girl decides to cheat or be independent, or leave him while making him look like the bad guy. Sounds too familiar? That's because it is. This dynamic is happening between men and women on a consistent basis. They don't appreciate us, they don't value us, and they feel entitled and want to be spoiled for no other reason except that they are women. We men are making the mistake of complying and asking them to change when in reality, we should just focus on bettering our lives and heightening our standards. They shame us for anything that breaks the reality of "I'm perfect." Women genuinely believe they deserve a Prince Charming. They lack empathy to understand that men desire different things. A lot of men want to be that first physically, romantically, and with experiences such as traveling. The more experience a man has, the more he wants to give. The more experience a woman has, the more she expects and the more she wants to experience those things with other men. Men want to provide and protect, but they dislike feeling obligated to do such things. And that too, without an appreciation or respect. This is another example of how women as a group create so many of their own problems on the dating scene. I'm sure these women in their 30s were the exact type of women who, when they were early 20s, dated older men. Also, the women now in their early 20s who find themselves single in their 30s are going to dislike how younger women are taking older men. When a woman goes online and says, "I don't need a man for this, that, and the other," that means she desperately needs a man for all those things, but is afraid for her life she'll never get him. Older women, you have created the issue you are now complaining about. You have become combative, overly argumentative and demanding, too stressed, and simply unpleasant to be with. No man wants to go near that. It's not about your age, really. It is about your attitude. You are now too scared and miserable to the point of being non-cooperative, unsupportive, and cold in a relationship. Of course, if Chad and Tyrone are the only men ever visible to you, then do not wonder why he has options and prefers to go for younger, more accessible women. It's true about older men and options for women. I think it's the confidence and capabilities of an older guy that turns them on. However, the thing that shocks me is the lack of manners and basic respect for younger women. They are crass. Most of the time, if you engage with one of those women, they can't handle getting checked for being rude and ungrateful. They are just not equipped to process a man setting boundaries and standards. Successful older men have their choices increased while successful older women have their choices narrowed, and this small number of choices is what frustrates them the most. Women expected to party for a decade, then land a top-tier man in time to pop a few kids and live a happily ever after. A few pull it off, but most end up alone, medicated, bitter, and somewhat impoverished. Of course, it's all men's fault. Of course. I've seen women's videos talking to men about dating and the men say, "Why would I marry you?" And the women say that they're not talking about marriage, they're talking about dating. The men point out that men date someone they think has marriage potential, and the women are always like, no. What is really crazy is, when these high-value women talk about why they deserve a perfect guy, they only talk about their good job, their financial independence, their looks, what they bring to the table, etc., and none of them say they can be a great mother, can be compassionate, loving, supportive, and will build a great future with their partner. They have no reason to be angry. They were the ones who ignored us when we were 18 to 30. I mean, they didn't think we would wait for them to reach 35 to 40, did they? It's so crazy how people think these days. Besides, most are not looking like they did at 20. At all. It's them who have competition now. Same as we did when we were younger. We men peak at different ages. That is the reality. Of course, I will go for the younger ones now that I have options, and so will any man. When a woman understands that she will be happy in every or nearly every way when she lets a man control her entire life and serves him entirely, she will finally get it. The problem with this is that all media says the exact opposite of that, and it's ruining the essence of what it means to be a woman ultimately. What I hate the most is that men are supposed to achieve success in life, but when women do it, they are independent, confident, and successful. A man may earn 100K a year, but it's okay because he's supposed to. But when a woman reaches 100K, she's strong and successful. Making money takes time. Only some women do not consider dating a poor man with goals, but would rather wait until he becomes rich. Then, they have the audacity to approach you when you are successful and act as if they are your best choice. And to tell you the truth, I don't think age is a main factor in this. These girls date older guys because of money, and because few people are born into money, and it takes time to establish a fortune. So the guys are older by the time they can afford all these hot girls. I can assure you that in the town where I grew up, no sane 20-year-old would fall for a 40-something miner or railwayman. Besides, these girls are gathering experience so that in a few years they themselves can be bitter old jealous women. I don't understand women complaining about men dating younger. I know a few women dating younger men by a decade, and no one complains about that. It's so simple when they see men have choices, they want to change guys or want someone who matches every expectation of them. And even when men try hard to do that and fail at the little point, they reject them. When men get in power and don't want them, they start feeling sad, and now they want them even if they have a little of what they want. But as you know now, men won't go there because now they have the options. The only thing I don't get is, men and women in their 30s and 40s will only date a perfect 10. Or if you're willing to date someone over 25 to 28, don't be surprised when they have a kid or were married. The older women complaining about the lack of men in their 30s and 40s were the exact same 20-somethings in the past who were having fun with older men. They are attacking their past selves and bad decisions. It's a perpetual cycle. It's really ironic. These older women were young women at once too. So basically, they're insulting themselves. They claim they're independent and smart women even in their 20s. So, what happened? These women are just bitter. How dare you go out with somebody that's almost half your age? It sounds like a little bit of frustration because they've created all these accomplishments, but yet men don't want them anyway. The most damage done to them is caused by themselves. They want to be independent and rejected all the men who wanted to date them once because of it. And now they're sour about the choices they made themselves. Most men just want to live a peaceful life. My guess is that those women are finally showing their insecurities that they buried a long time ago. When these older women were in their 20s, they would have jumped at the chance to date an older, stable, successful man, or an older man on his way to that level of status. It was only when they got older that they come to the conclusion that older men shouldn't be dated by younger women, because they are getting bitter, resentful, and left behind. Men get better, wiser, more stable, and more attractive as they age. Women go in the opposite direction. These particular women felt entitled in their 20s, so instead of getting with guys their own age and being good wives to them, nothing was ever good enough for them. I much would have preferred to be with a woman my own age, because we would have grown up with the same stuff and could relate to each other easier. Instead, I'll probably be with a girl that much younger than me, because the girls my age went for the older guys. It's as they say, men age like wine and women age like milk. Why would a man want sour milk, while the women can have all the wine they want? Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. And let us know your thoughts on this in the comments. We're always up for a healthy debate and discussion.